Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In today's lecture, we will discuss about the linear measurements. First of all, we should know what is the distance. Distance between the 2 points on the surface of the earth is actually the horizontal distance. It takes 2 points to form a line. We all know distance measurement is the basis of all surveying. Now here is the importance of distance measurement, that even though angles may be read precisely with the equipment, length of at least one line must be measured to use the angles in locating points. There are various methods to find out the distance: pacing or stepping, speedometer, odometer, taping or chaining, tachometry, EDM, GPS, speedometer, steel band, distance meter, and total station. First of all, the pacing. It is a technique used to measure the distance by counting the steps. Distance is calculated by multiplying the number of paces by the individual pace factor or the individual pace standard length. Distances typically can be paced with an accuracy ratio of 1 in 100. These are simple advantages. Non-technical person can use this method. There is no requirement of specialized equipment. Rough check of all key points in the construction layout. Some disadvantages of pacing are: topography affects the accuracy. If there are some undulations or unevenness of the surface, topography will affect the accuracy. It requires a lot of practice to take consistent paces. Large areas cannot be surveyed. Next is the odometer, which is a mechanical revolution counter. An odometer wheel is a wheel which uses an odometer to count the rotations of the wheel. The gear ratio of the odometer is usually designed to provide a measurement of the distance in standard units, which can be feet, inches, or meters, or any units. Advantages: it is easy to use, and the same non-technical person can also use this method. Accuracy is affected by the surface conditions, and it is less accurate are the main disadvantages of odometer. Chaining. There are different types of chains: Gunter's chain, engineer's chain, metric chain, steel band, and revenue chain. Most important of the two are being discussed in this lecture. First one is Gunter's chain. One chain is equal to 100 links, equal to 66 feet. 80 chains will be equivalent to 1 mile, and the 10 square chains will be equal to 43,560 square feet. For example, an old plan is showing a dimension of 5 chains and 32 links. Convert this value to feet and meters. We simply multiply 5.32, which are the chains and the links, multiply by 66, and we will get the answer in feet, 355.12. If you want to take the answer in meters, just divide it by 3.28 and get the required answer. The second type is engineer's chain. You can see one chain is equal to 100 links equal to 100 feet, which simply means that one link is exactly equal to 1 feet. These are some advantages of chains. They can be read easily and quickly. They can withstand wear and tear. They can be easily repaired or rectified in the field. Rectified means simply if a part of the chain having a very large value of the error or the significant value of error, we simply replace this specific part of the chain with the new one. Some disadvantages are: they are heavy and take too much time to open or fold. They become longer or shorter due to continuous use. When measurement is taken in suspension, the chain will sag excessively due to self-weight. Now comes the tapes. There are different types of tapes available in the market, and the engineer is totally free to use any type of tape. Engineer will decide that which kind of tape will be used in which type of circumstances in the field. First one is cloth or linen. Such a type is made of closely woven linen and is varnished to resist moisture. Measurement taken near electric stations should be made with dry non-metallic tapes. Very important this point. Metallic tape, when linen tape is reinforced with brass or copper wires to make it durable, then it is called a metallic tape. It is wound on a leather case with a brass handle at the end. Steel tape is made of steel ribbon with a varying width from 6 to 16 millimeters. It is graduated in meters, decimeters and centimeter units. In wattage, it is made of an alloy of steel 65% and nickel 35%. Due to the use of these combination of these two metals as an alloy, its thermal coefficient is very low. Therefore, it is not affected by the change of temperature. So you can see there are different advantages of different kinds of tapes. So engineers should decide which type of tape will be used. Now this slide is showing that how to take measurement by using measuring tape. In the figure A, you can see the value is given in inches at the top, and at bottom the measurements are provided in centimeters. So the point here to be noted is that if you see between 1 and 2 inches, 1 inch is divided into 16 equal parts. Okay, these 16 small vertical lines are indicating equal to 1 inch. Okay, I repeat, this 1 inch length is divided into 16 equal vertical lines, 16 equal parts. The two parts out of 16 are in the slang language known as sutar. Okay, these two vertical lines are in slang language known as sutar. Ek sutar, do sutar. Okay, that is 16th of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Okay. Now in figure C you can see if we open that much measuring tape, it is directly providing us value in digits. 0 feet, 1 inch and 7 by 16 inches. 7 by 16 means the length equal to 7 small vertical lines. It will lie like here. Okay, 7 by 16. Now the accessories used for linear measurements. First one is plumb bob. It is normally made of brass and weigh from 10 to 12 oz. Plumb bobs are used in taping to transfer from the tape to the ground when the tape is being held off the ground to maintain its horizontal alignment. The hand level is used to level of a smooth surface. It can be used along with plumb bob to keep the steel tape horizontal when measuring. Clamp handle and tension handle. Okay, this is the tension handle, and the right component, this is clamp handle. Clamp handle helps grip the tape at any intermediate point without being bending and distorting the tape, while tension handles are used in precise work to ensure that the appropriate tension is being applied. The standard applied tension will be 50 newtons. Ranging poles and ranging rods. Ranging poles length starts from 6 feet up to 12 feet, made of wooden or aluminium with steel points. Ranging poles are used to mark the station point or benchmarks for long sight distances. Normally the ranging poles are used in place of benchmarks on the main survey stations, which are normally very far from each other. due to its longer length or longer height, you can say, as compared to ranging rod. Ranging poles are used to benchmark the main station. Ranging rods are of the length up to 6 feet and used in the process of establishment of the substrate line. The process is called ranging. Ranging poles and ranging rods are painted with a combination of white and red or black paints at every 1 feet length, as you can see in this figure. Chaining pins or pegs or marking arrows are used for temporary mark on the ground. Now these are some standard conditions of steel tapes. The temperature should be 20 degrees centigrade. Tape should be fully supported throughout. Tape under a tension of 50 newtons. These are the standard conditions, but in reality all these conditions are impossible to meet. The temperature is seldom exactly 20 degrees centigrade. That is the first reason. The second reason is that many measurements are taken on a slope. So the condition of full support is also not regularly fulfilled when one end of the tape is held off the ground to keep it horizontal and plumped. Third condition is the tension may not be calculated due to lack of equipment. Then comes the slope distance. Okay. When the distance is measured at slopes, the measurements are usually shown in a two-dimensional plan view drawing. To convert slope distance to their horizontal equivalents, the surveyor must know the slope angle theta, the zenith angle 90 minus theta, or the vertical distance. It is simply implying that we can find the horizontal distance simply by using Pythagorean theorem, in which hypotenuse will be the slopey distance and perpendicular will be the vertical distance. This is the correlation between the slope angle, the slope ratio, and percentage of slope. This is the value of degrees, values of theta in degrees. Theta is the angle of the slope. In second figure, the vertical values are named as rise, V, and the horizontal values are termed as run, H. In the third figure, it is the percentage of the ratio of vertical to the horizontal. So, for example, I am taking this third value of 1.5H ratio of 1V. What does it mean? That if we move in horizontal direction 1.5 units, the vertical change will be 1 unit. If you take the ratio of vertical to horizontal, means 1 divided by 1.5 and multiplied by 100, you will get the percentage, and in our case it will be 67%. You can also find the slope angle simply by taking the tan formula. Theta will be equal to tan inverse of vertical over horizontal. Okay. Now breaking chain is a technique used whenever the slope is less than 5%. Breaking the chain into shorter segments reduces the height of the elevated end of the chain. Here you can see a slopy ground. We want to find the pure horizontal distance between the point A and the point B. We can measure the slopy distance between these 2 points easily by using measuring tape, but we actually want to know the horizontal component of that slopy distance. What we will do, we simply nail the pegs at the random intermediate distances. Intermediate pegs are shown in the figure. Now we open the measuring tape and start taking the length from the point A up to this point. Okay, this reading was 1.85 meters. At this point, we suspend the plumb bob exactly to locate the center of the peg. It will be final point for this reading, and it will provide a base for us to start from this point up to the next point. Okay, now the second point will be 1.75 and so on. So here we can see that we just divided the whole slopy distance into number of segments, and then by adding all these segments we will calculate the total horizontal distance between the two required points. 1.85 plus 1.75 plus 1.52 equal to 5.12 meters. So this is the procedure how we did it. Now another important section is the errors in the chain or chaining and how to correct or adjust that error. So first error that arises in the chaining is steel chain length correction. Incorrect length of a chain is one of the most important errors. True length is obtained by comparing it with a standard tape or distance. Its mathematical formula is CL is equal to L minus L dash over L dash into L, and L bar is equal to L plus CL, where CL is the correction to be applied, L is the actual tape length, L dash is the standard tape length, L is equal to measured length of the line, L bar is equal to corrected length of the line. Now here is example for you to understand that how is it working. For example, if we want to find the distance between the 2 points A and B using measuring tape. We opened the measuring tape and just found that this value is 8 centimeters. Okay, this 8 centimeter is shown by the red dotted arrow. Now we open another standard tape and compare it with our previously taken reading. Standard tapes mean it is the freshly manufactured measuring tape from the factory, and it is 100% authentic and verified that it has no error, 0% error. That is called the standard tape. When we measure the distance by using standard tape, it was giving us the reading of 8.5 centimeters and not the 8 centimeters as previously known. So we can see that our chain, previously used chain or tape, was too long. Okay, you can see the elongated portion. It is too long by a factor which is shown by the blue arrows. The factor CL, which is the correction required in the length. So here you can see that we have to add the value of CL in 8 centimeters to get the required corrected value, which was 8.5 centimeters. So we can say that CL is equal to 0.5 centimeters. Similarly, here is the reverse case when due to shrinkage in the tape, our reading is, we can say that the tape is too short. Due to shortening or shrinkage of the tape, you can see that the tape value is displaying more than the standard value. Okay, standard value was 8.5, while due to shrinkage of the tape, we are getting the value of 9 centimeters. It means whenever we are facing this type of problem that our tape is too short, we have to subtract the value of CL from the measured tape value. Okay, we shall discuss it one by one in an example so that all the concept is clear to you. First example, now 100 feet steel tape when compared with the standard is actually 100.02 feet long. What does it mean? our tape is showing the value which is too long, so it is the first case. What is the corrected length of the line measured with the tape and found to be 565.75? So by using this defective tape, we found this value of 565.75 feet, which will surely be the value having some error in it. We have to adjust the error in this value. What will be the procedure? Just put all the values in the formula. CL is equal to 100.02, which is the actual tape length, minus the standard tape length, which was the 100 feet as given. Multiplying it by the measured value, we will get the answer 0.11 feet. Its value is in feet. So by simply adding this value in the measured value, we will get the final answer. It is the corrected value, 565.86 feet. Now see its reverse case. The second example, a measurement of 171.278 meters was recorded with a 30-meter tape that was only 29.996 meter long under standard conditions. What is the corrected measurement? Here you can see that due to shrinkage, the value of tape is being shortened. Due to the shorted value, we have to subtract the value of CL from this value. Mathematically, 29.996 minus 30, which is the standard tape length, multiplied by 171.28. Here you can see we are getting the negative value, 0.0228 meters. The formula will be same. Now this value will be subtracted and you will get the required corrected value of measured length. Similarly, the second correction is the steel chain temperature correction. Steel expands and contracts at fixed rate dependent upon the temperature. The temperature correction for a steel tape is CT is equal to L into alpha into the difference of two temperatures, the T and the TS. CT is the correction in feet or meters. L is the length of tape. Alpha is the coefficient of thermal expansion, whose value in Fahrenheit and centigrade is mentioned here. The value of this thermal coefficient for different kinds of tapes or chains will be the different. Okay, the value of alpha, the value of coefficient of thermal expansion is necessarily be mentioned by the manufacturer of the tape. T is equal to the tape temperature at the time of measurement. Ts is equal to temperature at standard length. This is another example. Determine the correction for a steel tape when used to measure a distance of 250 feet when the air temperature was 100 degree Fahrenheit and the standardized temperature is 72 Fahrenheit. Simply put all these values. L is equal to 250 feet, alpha is equal to 6.5 into 10 raised to the power minus 6 when we talk about the values in feet, multiply by 100 Fahrenheit temperature is given and the 72 degree Fahrenheit standard temperature. You will get the value of 0.0455 feet or 0.5 when taken in inches. L bar is equal to L plus CT and you will get the required corrected value. Now there can be some obstacles during the chaining or taping process. There can be three cases of obstruction. First case is when chaining is free but vision is obstructed. Second case, when the chaining is obstructed but vision is free. Third case is when chaining and vision both are obstructed. We shall discuss all these three cases one by one. So the first case is chaining free but the vision obstructed. This kind of problem may arise when the rising ground or a jungle area interrupts the chain line. The end stations are not intervisible. This is the case The survey line AB was to be measured, but a jungle is like an obstacle between the two stations. So what we do in this case, we will use the similar triangles rule. We just take a random point P and take a random point with the help of measuring tape in this pattern. Now we shall draw two perpendiculars at the random positions, one from the left and one from the right of the jungle. Okay, these are two perpendicular offsets, perpendicular to the random line. Now we have gotten the two right triangles. First is the PE1E and the second is PC1C. Okay, these two triangles are similar triangles. So here, using similarity of triangles, we can find the value of EE1. Once we found the value of EE1, it is very easy to find the value of PE1 by using the Pythagorean theorem to the larger triangle EE1 and P. All of these are shown in this slide, the mathematical calculations and formulas that will be used to calculate the distance AB. The second case, when chaining is obstructed but the vision is free. Now there can be two subcases. The first subcase is when the pond interrupts the chain line and it is possible to go around the obstruction. Like this is a case, a pond is in between the line AB. We want to calculate the value of AB line. We just draw two perpendiculars, one at the left and one at the right of the pond. Okay, now meet these two perpendiculars or these two offsets exactly parallel to the line AB, and we can easily find the distances AC plus EF plus DB will be equal to AB. Or another technique can be used, a right triangle can be formed and the same distances can be calculated easily. Mathematically all these calculations you can use. Now the second subcase is case 2, when a river comes across the chain line and it is not possible to go around the obstruction. A river is flowing in this direction and we want to find the length of the line AB. Now indirectly we will calculate the value of AB. Just take two random points named as C and D from north and south of the river, or up and down side of the river you can say. Now draw a perpendicular from this point C up to point E. Okay, take a point F that bisects the line CE. Now bisect means mathematically it is dividing the line CE in two equal parts, which means F is exactly at the center of the line CE. Or in other words, you can say point F is dividing the line CE in two equal parts. Now draw another perpendicular from point E up to point G. The point G will be located so that the points G, F and D will be in the same alignment, will be in the same line of sight. And you will see all these three ranging rods placed at point D, F, G in the same alignment by the process called ranging. Okay. Now we have just drawn the two similar right triangles. These are similar triangles because we have already bisected the line CE, which means CF is equal to EF. Both having 90-degree angle, or in other words, we can say that EG is exactly equal to CD. So once we have found the value of CD, we are just adding the values of AC plus CD plus DB, which will be equal to AB. So in In that manner you can calculate the value of AB. Now the third and the last case is when the chaining and vision both are obstructed. This can be the case when a building comes across the chain line. Okay, this is the line AB and the building comes across. So just draw 4 perpendicular lines and meet all the offsets parallel to the line AB. In this manner we can calculate the length of the line AB. There are other methods which can also be used to find the distance measurement. The distance between the stadia crosshairs is designed so that the divergence of the sides across the two stadia crosshairs is 1 feet when the instrument is 100 feet from the rod. What does it mean? That if the stadia factor is kept constant equal to 100, simply the difference between the top and the bottom stadia will be equal to the horizontal distance. We shall discuss in detail this process in the chapter of tachometry. Electronic distance meter, a very accurate method of measuring the distance by means of an electronic device. Most EDM instruments are operated by infrared light or laser, with the beam being directed at a target which may be some kilometers away and give a direct reading with an accuracy of 1 in 10,000 or even better. Here you can see it is an EDM device, electronic distance meter, and prism is placed at some unknown point. Signal out is indicating an infrared light beam is emerging from the EDM device. It strikes the prism and rebounds back to the EDM device, which is indicated by the signal return as a green line. So the total time taken from the immersion of infrared light beam striking and rebounding back, this total time is calculated by the instrument. The velocity of infrared light is already built-in function in the EDM. So in that manner, depending upon that principle, this instrument will give you the value of distance. Next is the GPS, Global Positioning System, is a system of satellites in orbit around the Earth. Each satellite knows its position and uses a unique signal to continuously broadcast this information. When a GPS receiver receives a signal from at least 4 satellites, it can compute its position by trilateration. This is a process we shall study in detail in Survey 2. The receiver position can be expressed in degrees of the latitude and the longitude. Pedometer is an instrument for estimating the distance traveled on foot by recording the number of steps taken. Here you can see the number of steps are mentioned. Steel band, which is a type of measuring tape, you can say, it can measure up to 100 meters. Distance meter, it is displaying digitally the value of distance. It is more accurate than the pedometer. Total station is a modified form of electronic digital theodolite combined with data logger and automated mapping software. Some of the instruments that are used in surveying for angular measurements are compass, clinometer, trough compass, prismatic compass, auto level, and electronic digital theodolite. Okay, so this was all about today's lecture. Thank you very much.